Today we're going to talk about who is Ray Dalio. First of all, I found out about Ray Dalio from an interview that he did on another YouTube channel that I follow. And it's really one of the best interviews. I thought, man, this guy's very interesting. And a lot of what he said made sense, particularly when it comes to cryptocurrency. This channel is all about cryptocurrency, understanding what its purpose is, why it's here, why we're going to be using it in the future, and quite honestly, how we can earn an income with it. In fact, I have an entire free newsletter about earning passive cryptocurrency. You can subscribe down to that newsletter down in the description. But today, let's talk about Ray Dalio. So this led me on a kind of a bit of a research on who he is. And you're going to start hearing a lot about him, I believe, because he basically predicted the 2008 financial collapse. He predicted it in 2007, and it's basically because of how he invests. So Ray Dalio runs a hedge fund called Bridgewater Associates. When you see things like the $2 trillion stimulus that's been passed for this coronavirus, this is the kind of stuff that he talks about. He understands. Like he could not have predicted that, hey, they're going to come up with a $2 trillion stimulus. But he can predict that, hey, they're probably going to start having to find a reason to print money. And the stimulus basically just speeds that up. And I'm going to start covering him some more in depth. In fact, I'm going to cover some of his work because I think it's important. If you care about finances, you care about economics, and you want to be able to figure out how you can put yourself in the best economical situation or the best financial position, or you want to figure out how you can capitalize on up-and-coming trends, Ray Dalio is more of a macro investor. That means he's a big picture investor. I kind of see myself as a macro cryptocurrency investor / enthusiast / YouTuber. You see, the reason I believe in cryptocurrency is because of the macroeconomic situation. And I believe, even though Ray Dalio, believe it or not, does not, oh, sorry, this is his website, The Changing World Order. We're going to be talking about that in an upcoming video. So if you want to see this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That will be coming up in the next 2 to 3 videos. Okay, so if you want to understand Ray Dalio, even though he doesn't, let me just say this for a moment, even though he doesn't like cryptocurrency, I think it has a lot to do with really and truly his age and his generation, that he doesn't really see it for what it is. And just like Warren Buffett, and that's totally okay. But he's worth paying attention to because what he says about the economy makes sense. And he has the largest hedge fund in the world, literally. Bridgewater Associates got started, I think he was 1975. I forget how old he was. In 1975, it got started. Today, Bridgewater Associates is the largest hedge fund in the world. So when you think about hedge funds, it's a behemoth. I think it's 150-something billion, 160 billion. To put that into perspective, the next 2 to 3 largest hedge funds underneath it combined don't equal 160 billion. Very few hedge funds actually make money consistently over multiple decades, and that's exactly what he's been able to do. He made his first investment, by the way, in Northeastern Airlines. Fun fact, when he was just 13 years of age, and he tripled that investment. Needless to say, I guess he got the bug, and he's been trading ever since. Something very interesting happened to him early in his life. He, at 22 years old, when he began to realize that he needed to understand the world from kind of a high-level economic perspective or a macro perspective, and meaning macro is the opposite of micro. So he said, from a macro perspective, he needed to understand the world and what was going on. He needed to understand trends. And the reason he learned that lesson, because when he was 22 years of age, the U.S. Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard. And what he realized is, in effect, the U.S. was reneging on a promise. The promise was that you could exchange dollars for gold. And all of a sudden, he realized that the U.S., the reason they were going to renege is because they had too many dollars. They had more dollars than gold. They had printed too much. They could not make good on that promise any longer. And he saw that as a major economic concern. And he saw the value of the dollar was going to drop, and it did. And he figured the stock market was going to drop and the economy was going to collapse. But the next day he goes in, and he went into the New York Stock Exchange working as a clerk, I believe, and he saw that the stock market went up 4%. And he started scratching his head. Wait a minute. Why did the stock market go up 4%? So he realized he needed to do some research, and that led him to become the macro investor that he is today. He's written a couple of very good books. His website, Principles, this whole article here is very, very long. Oh, not that article. This article here is very, very long. And I'm going to break it down in a whole nother video. Look at this thing. It is enormous. But I'm going to break it down because it's a little bit complex. And I'm going to try to make it very, very simple, or as simple as possible as I can for you, so that you can understand it. Because I think it's very important that we, not just as cryptocurrency investors, but as citizens, understand what's going on in the world around us. And I think Ray Dalio basically paints that perspective far better than most people. A couple of fun facts about him. He's already retired as CEO, and he's already planning for his company to essentially live on forever. He's basically wrote a bit of a constitution, just like our founding fathers did for our country. To keep laws intact, they created a constitution. It's kind of what he's done for his companies. So he calls it principles. And he's written a book about principles as well. He's in transcendental meditation. If that's the key to becoming a billionaire, I guess I need to start meditating. Not my thing. Another fun fact, James Cameron of Ocean X, he's heavily funded James Cameron's Ocean X of mapping the ocean bottom. Just a fun fact about Ray Dalio. I'll put this link in Forbes. You can read all about him and who he is and Bridgewater Associates. The most important thing for you to understand about him is that he has a track record. He's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing. And he's not political about it. So a lot of times when you hear things from governments, you read things in the news media, there's oftentimes a political bias behind it. It's designed in some ways to communicate to a citizen, or a citizen group, some sort of ideas that's basically about the greater good of society. Meaning that, if the White House releases a press release, it's not going to be the good, the bad, the ugly. It's going to be, just like, for example, when Nixon got off the gold standard, he did not say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, just let you know, this is going to collapse the dollar, and we have to do this because we can no longer afford to redeem. We have way too many dollars and we have gold, so we can't afford to redeem those dollars for gold any longer. That's not what he said, right? He gave some sort of political spin on it. I wasn't there, obviously. I didn't hear it, but I'm certain you could go look it up. He gave some sort of political spin. When you listen to a guy like Ray Dalio, he doesn't have a political dog in the fight, so to speak. And you look at his track record. I mean, the guy predicted the financial crisis. Why? Because he understood trends. He understands what's going on. And when you go look at his the Changing the World Order, you can come look at this. It's principles.com. Click on read, but subscribe to this video. And if you're like, okay, look, crypto wealth, I can't read all that. That's not my thing. That's okay. Stay tuned. I'll go through and I'll read through it. I'm already working on it. It's quite long. I'm taking a lot of notes because I want to be able to explain it and break it down in a way that's very, very simple so that you can understand it. Because I believe that if you want to take advantage of what's coming, the coming cryptocurrency revolution, then you definitely want to understand what Ray Dalio is saying, because I think he makes a very strong case for cryptocurrency, even though he doesn't even believe in cryptocurrency, but he hates the US dollar. And that's another video coming up. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Stay tuned for my next video where I go into more depth about Ray Dalio. And I'll go ahead and put a link in the description to this article here. I'll put a link in the description as well to the Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. You can hit subscribe. You'll have to confirm your email address. You'll get a confirmation email, confirm. Starting with the very first email after confirmation, you're going to learn how you can start earning passive cryptocurrency today. 5 streams of crypto income, totally for free. You're going to get daily emails teaching you everything along the way. 100% guaranteed to work. Company, multi-year track record these organizations and companies have. Full email support provided. If you have any questions, you can reply to any of my emails, and I'll be able to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Crypto equals freedom. Crypto wealth, I'm out.